Hey Freak Schools Weirdos, and welcome back to my channel. It is Nikki the Horror Nerd here, giving you guys a movie review on It Chapter 2, which came out in theaters last weekend. I really wanted to do this review last weekend when it first came out, when I first went and seen it, but I told myself I should definitely go check out this movie one more time because it is a very long movie, and I wanted to check it out a second time before I did the review because I did not want to miss anything. I only wanted to do one review for this movie. I didn't want to make a part 1, part 2, but yes, before I go on and say any more, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you don't like spoilers or if you're going to get butthurt because you have not seen the movie, definitely click out and come back to my review after you've seen It Chapter 2. So, anyway, going on. It was a really cool ass movie. I enjoyed it personally. There is a lot of negative comments I'm hearing from people about It Chapter 2, but I feel like those people are the kind of people that look and pick for negative shit in horror movies. I genuinely really loved the movie though. I thought it was perfect, the amount of comedy they put in it, because it is a really, I'm just gonna say this, it is a really funny movie. It was kind of like watching a mixture of a comedy movie and a horror movie. So I really love the comedy that they put in there. It really just showed, I think, the bond that the kids had, because if you have not seen It Chapter 1, all the kids are kind of funny, and they all, especially Richie is like the class clown of the damn Losers Club. So it was a really funny movie, and I enjoyed the comedy in it. Another thing is the CGI. I happen to really like the CGI and the amount of CGI they used in the movie. I mean, that's the majority of the people that are saying really bad things about the movie is commenting on the CGI, how they didn't like the CGI. I feel like they needed to do CGI in this type of movie because, first of all, in one part of the movie where they used a majority of the CGI was for the Losers Club when they were children. Kids grow up, kids age, kids look to be older, especially a few years, I mean, they're teenagers. I mean, a few of them have hit really miraculous growth spurts, especially Finn Wolfhard, and you can just tell that kid has gotten a lot older. He looks a lot older from when he did It Chapter 1, even Stranger Things. You could just tell a miraculous difference between, you know, each season of Stranger Things and from It Chapter 1 to It Chapter 2. So of course they had to use CGI for the kids because the story had to match up from It Chapter 1 to It Chapter 2. I feel like I would have noticed because I don't know if you've seen Finn Wolfhard lately, but that dude, that kid has gotten, he's grown. I'll just say it. I'll just say, keep it short, and I'll just say that much. That kid has gotten older and he looks older, so they had to use CGI for his face. I really wasn't picking out any negatives and I really wasn't looking for anything, so I could not honestly tell. Obviously you see his eyes look very large with his glasses on, but it wasn't that big of a deal for me. I was not pissed, I wasn't annoyed, I wasn't aggravated every time that I seen a child pop up on the screen, and I wasn't looking for any like CGI to be done to their faces or anything like that. So I'm just gonna say that much. I didn't really care that they used CGI for the kids. It had to make sense to the people watching the movie. We knew what they looked like in It Chapter 1. It just would not have added up, especially the time frame. So yeah, don't see a problem there. Don't know what people are really complaining about. Get over it. It's a fucking horror movie. People are gonna say bad things. I get that. That's your own opinion, and this is my opinion. So if you don't like my opinion, I suggest you just click off my video and just save your hateful and negative comments for somewhere else, because I really don't care to read them, because I might get a little hate for saying what I'm saying on this video, so I'm just putting that out there. But anyway, didn't see a problem with the CGI. I felt like it was needed. Felt like it fit perfectly in the movie. It doesn't bother me. It didn't bother me, so love the CGI. Another thing that was really cool is the cameos that I saw. Now, I did see one cameo that stuck out to me from the first time I went and seen It Chapter 2, and that was Stephen King. we all know who Stephen King is. If you didn't catch him, there might be a problem, because the dude, you could just tell. He's a very, well-known writer. And yeah, if you didn't spot him, if you go see it again or when it comes out on DVD, definitely keep your eyes out. You must not have been paying attention if you didn't catch him. But yes, that was really cool. But that was the only cameo that I saw. I heard there was more after I read articles on the movie after I went and seen it the first time. I heard that Brandon Crane was actually in there, and Brandon Crane is the original young Ben from the 1990s miniseries It. I did catch him when I seen It Chapter 2 a second time, and he's one of the guys that works with Ben Hanscom in his architectural company or whatever. I spotted him after I read about it, so I was looking for things after I read about them in articles, and I definitely caught him. Another cameo I saw was Muschietti, and that is the director of It Chapter 1 and 2. He didn't say anything in his cameo. He was just like extra in the background, and he was actually there when grown-up Eddie went into the pharmacy, and you could see Muschietti in the background. I think he was looking at tampons or something, but I could definitely tell that was Muschietti. I didn't catch him the first time I watched it though, because I wasn't really looking for special cameos, but seeing him in there. And there was one that I didn't catch. I tried finding her, but I believe it's Muschietti's wife. She made a really small cameo as well, but I couldn't find her. Wasn't really looking for him, but I was just trying to keep my eyes open a little bit. But those were a few surprise cameos that were in It Chapter 2. They kind of put King in there, like showing paying tribute to the writer and the creator of Pennywise in the It book. So that was really cool that they put Stephen King in there. Another thing is that I really enjoyed about the movie is they did not hold anything back in this movie. At least I don't think they did. There was 2 deaths that really stuck out to me in Chapter 2, and that was the deaths involving Pennywise killing the children. There were 2 children, and you all know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. The one being the little boy who goes into the mirror maze at the festival. I was not expecting for him to die. I was expecting, because the way the trailer made it look like Bill, played by James McAvoy. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right. You know who I'm talking about. It shows Bill trying to break through the glass, and then it shows Pennywise with like the cracked glass in the trailer. They made it seem like Bill was going to get to the kid, save the kid, and yada yada yada. No. It did not happen that way in the movie. It shows Bill trying to break the glass, failing miserably, and then it shows Pennywise breaking the glass. Probably got a concussion in the process of fucking breaking the glass, because he's banging his head against the glass and shit, and then the kid's like all terrified, and next thing you know, you see Pennywise cock his head back and then takes a big ass bite out of the kid. Like, you don't even see him really like in detail killing the kid. You just see a bunch of like fucking blood hit the window, and then it like disappears. That's one part of the movie I'm trying to understand. Like, what was that child put into Bill's mind by Pennywise to basically like fuck with him a little bit? Because throughout the movie you see Bill feeling very guilty about the death of Georgie, his younger brother, who died in Chapter 1. Was that Pennywise just basically trying to fuck with Bill? Like, you couldn't save him either. You couldn't save him like you couldn't save Georgie. Or was the kid real? Like, I'm still trying to understand that. I personally think the child was real, but I don't know. I'm not sure. So there's that, which was very gory. That was a gory part, because anything that involves children being killed or anything, that's really fucked up to me. And they did not hold back when it came to kids getting killed. And another part of the movie, another child that sadly didn't last too long, was the little girl with the birthmark on her cheek. And that was wild to me. I mean, I think they were Because if you've not seen the miniseries 1990s, there's a little girl in the beginning of the miniseries, and she's riding her tricycle home, and her mom's like, come on in, it's raining, you're gonna get sick, yada yada. So she's about to go in the house, and then she hears like a goofy ass giggle, and she turns, and it's Pennywise, Tim Curry's Pennywise, and he's like smiling at her, and then next thing you know, he's like growling and grimacing at her, and she's just standing there. Like, I don't know why you'd be just standing there if there's a creepy ass clown in your yard. But anyway, you see like him growling at her, and she's like looking all terrified and shit, and then the camera closes in on her face, and then the mom comes out. We don't see anything. We see what the mom does. She looks down at something and starts screaming, so I'm assuming it was her daughter. Pennywise killed her daughter. We didn't get to see anything like how he did it, what he did, nothing. But this little girl that died in It Chapter 2, we seen her go up to him, say, no, I don't want to fuck with you, you're scary, and then he pulls on this whole pity card act, like, I'm goofy looking, I know what it's like that was fucked up to me. That was fucked up, because that little girl got picked on, and he used that fear of hers from being picked on and not making any friends because of that birthmark thing on her cheek. He used that to basically reel her ass in, and he's like, I'll blow it away and everything, and she's like convinced, like, oh shit, this clown's gonna, you know, get rid of my birthmark. So she walks up to him, and the whole count into 1, 2, and he's like drooling and shit. That personally, to me, was probably one of the most scariest part of the damn movie, because it involves a child, and not only that, it involves a very vulnerable child, and that was very fucked up to me. But that was wild that they actually showed him actually take like a big old chunk out of her. They didn't it was like quick. You seen him drooling, and then she's like, you didn't say 3, and then all of a sudden you see him like take a big chunk, and then it cut. That was it. But we know what happened. So that was fucked up to see. But I actually kind of like that they didn't hold back when it came to that, because it shows the viewers, the fans, how dark Pennywise actually fucking is. He kills children. He eats children. They didn't hold it back. So that was awesome that they didn't hold that back. Another really cool thing that I loved about the movie is the actors that they chose to play the adult versions of the Losers Club. I'm just going to start off with Jessica Chastain, who plays the adult Beverly Marsh, and she did a fantastic job showing the perspective and everything of who Bev is and who she grew up to be. I mean, she was stuck in this whole cycle of always being in an abusive relationship, whether it be her dad from when she was young to being her husband in It Chapter 2. So, and they did not hold anything back when it came to the abusive aspect of Bev's story. I mean, if you could tell, like, just by the fact that in the 1990s miniseries, Beverly, when she's about ready to go to Derry and everything, and she tells her husband or her boyfriend or whatever, she's going to Derry to help a friend, and he grabs his belt. First he smacks her and he grabs his belt, but in this It Chapter 2, Beverly Marsh actually he not only grabs that damn belt, he actually whips her with the belt. He punches her. He not only slaps her, he punches her. It was dark. It was very dark. But we actually got to see, you know, her not ever escaping that cycle of abuse. And we seen her conquer and everything when she went back to Derry to, you know, pretty much face her fears. So it was really cool to see Jessica Chastain play Beverly Marsh. She has played in another Muschietti movie, which is Mama, and I really like that movie as well. So I really like that they chose her to play the adult version of Beverly Marsh. I'm looking at my phone right now just so I'm not leaving anybody out. James McAvoy and Bill Hader, who James plays Bill, and Bill Hader plays Richie. Wow. I feel like out of all of the adult versions of the Losers Club, the actors that they chose to play them, I feel like those two they did the best on, because First of all, I love Bill Hader. He's such a funny ass cool dude. He is Richie. He's Richie. He's a class clown. He's funny as hell, and I feel like he didn't have to really do too much acting in the movie because he's just an all-around cool, funny dude. Now, back to James McAvoy. I can't even explain into words how much of an amazing actor James is. One of my favorite movies he plays in is Split. Now, if you go see Split, or if you've seen Split, you know what I'm talking about. The dude can act. He's an amazing actor. He did an amazing job playing Bill. I don't think they could have picked anyone better to play any of the losers, but it was a smart idea to pick James to play Bill. I really like that they kept it with the original 1990s miniseries, where when Bill comes back to Derry, he starts stuttering. He starts stuttering again, and he did a really good job on portraying Bill, and we see throughout the movie the guilt he feels for the death of Georgie, his younger brother, who died in It Chapter 1. We really get to see that, and we can not only see it, but we feel the guilt between him crying and screaming down a sewer drain to, him actually facing his fears like they all do in the movie and just conquering it. It was really cool and nice to see James play in this movie, and I love him as an actor. He's a really cool guy. Really like him. As for the rest, Isaiah, he plays Mike Hanlon. He did a really great job. I liked him. Jay Ryan, who plays Ben Hanscom, I feel like, because the young actor that plays the young Ben wanted Chris Pratt to play Ben, older Ben, but I was kind of bummed when they said that Chris Pratt wasn't going to be playing older Ben, because I felt like it would have been perfect. He would have been perfect for that role, but at the same time, the guy that they chose, Jay Ryan, he's an incredible actor. I liked him. He was really good playing Ben. I feel like John Ritter would have been really happy to see, and if you don't know who John Ritter is from the original 1990s miniseries. He plays the older Ben in that, from the 1990s. I feel like he would have really liked how this guy portrayed older Ben as well. But sadly, John Ritter passed away, and he didn't get to see what an amazing movie this was. So, James, I think his name, let me see what his full name is. I believe his name is James, James Ranson. He plays Eddie. That dude was funny. He was really funny. He was funny and annoying at the same time, but that's just who Eddie is. He's a very, OCD, germaphobe kind of character. And this guy who played that character, played Eddie, did an amazing job on, I think they all did just a really fantastic job, because it really did feel like we were looking at the adult versions of the Loser Club. They really nailed it when it came to the character development and staying true to the characters themselves. And last but not least, Andy Bean, who played Stanley from the Losers Club. We didn't get to see too much of him, but he did a really good job. They just all did a really fantastic job. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And last but not least, we cannot forget the man himself behind the clown, Bill Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård did such a phenomenal job. He just ended it right. I loved him playing Pennywise. I don't think they could have picked anyone better to play Pennywise. I have watched numerous interviews with him, and I have seen and heard how much he actually put into this character, and he was very dedicated throughout the making of It 1 and It 2, and he did not want to blow it, and he fucking didn't. He did a fantastic job. So bravo to the entire cast, and just way to go. And Stephen King, he should fucking give himself a big ass pat on the back, because he just, without him, none of this these movies wouldn't have been made. We wouldn't have even, Pennywise wouldn't even be fucking known. Nobody would even know of Pennywise or It or anything. So thank you to Mr. King, Stephen King himself, for creating such a wicked ass monster, wicked ass story. So who else is gonna fucking come up with a cosmic evil clown who eats children based off of their fear? Stephen King, that's who. So it was really nice to see yet again another one of Stephen King's masterpieces come to life. And it's a remake. Oh well. Some remakes flop. This one did not. I loved it. There's one particular scene I really want to talk about. It's because it's kind of interesting and I don't know if a lot of people know about it. But there's a particular scene in the It Chapter 2 that may stand out to some of you, and it didn't stand out to me until I actually watched an interview of Bill Hader talking about it, because Bill Hader is the one that helped Muschietti come up with this scene in a way. It goes about the scene where Stanley's head comes out of the fridge and rolls out, and he's like tormenting Eddie, Bill, and Richie, and then the spider-like legs come out of the head. Anyway, Muschietti was trying to figure out how this scene should go about, and Bill Hader's like, oh, that kind of sounds like the scene from The Thing, the 1980s The Thing. And Muschietti's like, you know what, it kind of does. And Muschietti, that's what inspired him with the scene, was that movie, The Thing. And the line that Richie uses, to some it might sound very, very familiar, and this line is actually spoken by Kurt Russell in The Thing, and the line goes, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." In the movie It Chapter 2, as Stanley's head grows legs out of it, we hear Richie say that very line, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." So that was their way of paying homage to 1980s movie The Thing, and I thought that was totally fucking cool when I heard that Bill Hader, you know, helped inspire that scene based off of the movie The Thing. So I thought I'd share that because that was really interesting to me. Another scene, I really thought this was really cool because they put a lot of like visual into this very iconic piece of the It story, which was January Embers, My Heart Burns There Too, all that, you know, that iconic piece of the It story. They actually like turn that into the scene in the movie is where Beverly comes up from behind Ben in the classroom, and she's like, you know, talking about how she really appreciates their friendship, appreciates, you know, him, and then he goes in for a kiss and she laughs at him, makes fun of him, and her whole fucking head catches like on flames, and it's crazy. I just love that they did that with it. They turned it very visually pleasing. It was visually pleasing to see that they turned such an iconic piece of the story into that. It was fucking awesome. A really funny scene. There's a lot of funniness and comedy in this movie, like I said before. The part where Richie, I swear, Richie in this whole fucking movie, funny as hell. He had the whole fucking movie theater laughing out loud. Like, we were all like dying of laughter because Richie was that funny. But it's where Richie comes out and he goes face to face with the giant spider-like Pennywise, and he's like, "Pennywise, you're a sloppy bitch," and he goes, "Yippee-ki-yay, mother," and before he lets out that last part, he fucking goes into like, he looks into the deadlights of Pennywise, and that fucking part in general, that fucking part was funny as hell. I think, yeah, that was probably the funniest part to me, honestly, in the whole movie. Thank you to Stephen King, thank you to the actors, thank you to Muschietti and the creators of this movie who created such a fantastic portrayal of Stephen King's story, It. Another really cool thing that I really loved about the movie was they actually went into a little bit of detail on its origin. Now, they don't show too much. They just show Mike Hanlon telling Bill the story of how it got to Earth, and he's just a cosmic alien-like being who lands on Earth and starts eating and attacking the native tribes. And the native tribes are talking to Mike Hanlon and telling him the stories and their experiences with it, and then Mike's telling Bill, he actually drugs Bill, and Bill's seeing it for himself. So it was really cool to see, actually, you know, that little bit. I like that they didn't go in too much detail and really fucking blow it. I did hear before I went to see the movie that they were going to, like, I heard a rumor that they were going to show its origin, and I was like not too fond of that idea, because I feel like less is more in some cases, and I didn't want to see where it came from. I didn't want to see how but the way they did it was perfect. It was terrifying. It was great. So I actually liked that, and I wasn't disappointed when they did it. They did it just right. They did it the correct way, I believe. So that was cool. The time frame. There has been some negative remarks about how long the movie actually was, how it was boring. First of all, I don't see how it was boring. I thought it was all very interesting, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, so if you think it's boring, that's cool, but I just don't get how you think it's boring or thought it was boring. But anyway, I thought, honestly, it was a perfect amount of time to explain everything they could about the missing pieces of the Losers Club that we didn't get to see from It Chapter 1. I like that we still got to see some Children Losers Club in there. That was cool. And yeah, I liked it. I liked how long the movie was. It didn't feel like 3 hours to me, or close to 3 hours to me. It felt, I don't know, I enjoyed the movie. So yeah, so the time frame wasn't a problem for me. I liked the time frame, or whatever. Trying to think if I'm missing anything. I do not want to leave anything out of this video, because I'm not going to do a part 2. I'm just going to leave this review as it is. If I leave out anything, if I do, I'll just put it in the comments below, and we can fucking chat about it in the comments below. Feel free to give me your opinion in the comments below. It could be negative, good, whatever. The ending. Okay, I feel like they ended it the best way they could. People are like, well, they fucking bullied the clown to death. Yes, I mean, it thrives off of people's fear, and he was thriving off of the Losers Club fear. And that, I don't know if you could see that, but he was so big at the end, like he was in spider-like form or whatever. That's because of how terrified they gave him that power to be that big. So they had to strip him of that power, which is their fear, and by basically showing him, you know, like, you're a stupid fucking clown, you're worthless, you're just a clown. That was them stripping away his power that they gave him, which is their fear. If that doesn't make sense to you, then I don't know. There was no other way to defeat it unless you are not scared of him, because that's what gives him his powers, his power. And they did that. I feel like they ended it perfectly and just right. I mean, we see them take out his heart, and then they fucking crush it into nothing, and he's gone. I feel like they couldn't have ended it any better. Yeah. So if you didn't like that, then okay, whatever. But I actually like how they ended it. It was very sad. I hated to see Eddie die, and it's crazy that we got to see such a miraculous change into Eddie's character. He was terrified in the beginning. I mean, yeah, he was really terrified in the beginning, to being really fucking terrified in the middle and toward the end a little bit, and then he finally gained the courage. And then after he gained the courage to face Pennywise, he dies. That was sad. And there was a lot of sadness in this movie when, especially seeing the bullying Richie's character gets, because he is, about his sexuality. I believe that's what they were trying to indicate with his character. And we got to see him being bullied as a child, and it was affecting him as an adult, and that gets used against him by Pennywise. That was really sad to see. So him and Eddie were probably the most, like, they were all really sad stories, especially, you know, between the abuse with Beverly, Eddie's fear just of, you know, illness and sickness and whatnot, Richie's fear of not being able to express his sexuality, being able to express himself, Bill with the guilt of his younger brother dying. He feels guilty that he is responsible for the death of Georgie. That was a really sad scene, especially seeing himself confront his younger self and telling his younger self to it was not his fault. I mean, he just didn't want to go play with Georgie. That was really sad seeing. And am I missing anything? Mike Hanlon was a very depressing and sad state of affair, especially because he never left Derry, and he was just so obsessed with you know, finding everything out he could about it. Pennywise. Stanley's story was very, very saddening to see, especially being his story ended very, very soon throughout the first, I believe, 10 to 15 minutes of the movie. That was really sad to see. And the ending was a very bittersweet ending when they're all out in the lake or whatever, and they're washing away all the, you know, all the shit they've been through after the battle with Pennywise and whatnot. I really loved the movie. It was kick-ass. I love the comedy, the horror in it, just the suspense and everything. The actors did a phenomenal job. The creators, the director, fantastic job. Stephen King, thank you for this amazing story. And yeah, just awesome film. And I know I'm going to get people out there that are going to watch this and probably hate on it and not agree with anything I just said. But like I said toward the beginning of this video, I don't care. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion and respect that. And yeah, so definitely comment below your opinion on this movie. I don't think I've left anything out. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Yeah, there is something else I want to say. They are trying to say that some people want a chapter 3. That's a bad idea. Personally, to me, that's a really bad idea. If anything, a prequel would be cool, but I don't see how they could make a chapter 3 work. So on a shorter note, I really enjoyed the movie, loved the movie. I cannot really pick out anything that I did not like about the movie because I wasn't looking for anything to pick out negative about it. But I loved the actor choices they chose. They all did an amazing job. The younger Losers Club, the older Losers Club. Bill Skarsgård, fucking amazing Pennywise. Thank you, Stephen King, for an amazing wicked ass story. Muschietti and the rest of the people that helped create the movie, awesome ass job. Bravo. And I'm going to end this video here. If you have any opinions on the movie It Chapter 2 or It Chapter 1 or anything you just want to add, comment below. I like to read the comments. If you didn't like anything I had to say, just keep your opinions to yourself. But if you want to say something down below, go right ahead. I'm just not going to respond to it if it's anything ignorant, because I really don't give a shit. But give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and y'all have a great night, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Later, losers.